Who's that? He's a Buddhist? Who's the big Buddhist of them all in Tibet? Or was in Tibet? Dalai Lama, yes. So Tibetan Buddhism, you're trying to reach nirvana, you're trying to reach enlightenment. And so the Dalai Lama, and while we were there, we were driving along in these vans, and then suddenly we saw all these monks who were in the street, and they were all picking up caterpillars out of the road. So we stopped, and you have a lot of rebirth here, and they were saying, well, we don't want to crush the caterpillars. You know, you never know. So we all got out and we helped move the caterpillars off the road before we drove on. The Dalai Lama. So he was head of religion and state when he was in Tibet. So a theocracy, we often think of that as negative. We tend to idealize the Dalai Lama. So depends on how you look at it. He's continually reborn. So when he dies, then you've got to find the new Dalai Lama, who's really just a reborn version of the old Dalai Lama. Anyone know how one of the ways they used to find the new Dalai Lama? One of the mechanisms? Yeah, if in the blue shirt, if you could either kind of be part of this or not, that would work for me. Thank you. So, the new Dalai Lama, what's one of the ways that you would do that? Anyone know? Anyone heard of anything with toys? What they would do is they would take a group of toys, one of which was the Dalai Lama's favorite toy when he was a child, and then go to villages where there are young boys and they put out the toys. And with other factors, but one of the ways is the boy that's like, oh yeah, that's my toy, because that means he was the Dalai Lama and he remembers it from his previous life. So that is one way that they know they've got the new big guy in there. He is in exile. He is not in Tibet anymore. A lot of details. China took over Tibet, so Tibet is technically now part of China. Tibet doesn't necessarily think so. And the Dalai Lama had to flee. He now is in India and travels around. So in Tibet, you cannot have a picture of the Dalai Lama. Okay, because you worship the state. You don't worship anything, but not the Dalai Lama. So this is really a big deal. The Dalai Lama. I mean, if you think of what your religion or something that is meaningful to you. So people have them kind of stuck like behind their stoves and things like that. People still want to have them. So when I got to Tibet and I saw, we were in a taxi and that's just what's on the visor, and there's all these monks, and I was like, ooh, are you guys allowed to have that? And he's like, other monks are okay to have up there, just not the Dalai Lama. Okay. Dalai Lama at FAU. Okay, so he came here in 2010. So again, when we look at Buddhism, globalization, Dalai Lama coming right here to Boca. A lot of people practicing Islam, mostly in inner Mongolia, okay, outer China, but the inner part of Mongolia, and then the people down there, Christianity, mostly in South Korea. And then you've got Zen Buddhism. So there's different ways Buddhism is practiced. And in Japan, one of the ways and the idea is you empty your mind and you just give importance to the small things. So the idea is if you were in this class and the only thing you were thinking about is Zen Buddhism, I wonder what Zen Buddhism is. You weren't thinking about who should I text? I hope I get pizza for dinner. I mean, it's just this... And one of the ways that they work with this is through the tea ceremony. It's sort of an example of something you would do as part of Zen Buddhism. And you would be pouring the tea, and the only thing you would be thinking about is, I'm pouring the tea right now. And this is actually, a student gave me this picture from the Murakami, which is in Delray. And you could have an exhibition of a tea ceremony. And how you come in is very important. How you move. And again, everything is orchestrated so that all you're doing is thinking about that one thing that you are doing in that moment. And one of the things, they have Zen rock gardens, and they're rarely any plants, and it's just rocks and stones, and they move the stones to be in a special pattern. And it's very spiritual, it's very focused, it's very quiet, and I just love this. Because this is just so not what It's not what you think of when you think of Zen garden school. Feng Shui. This is in China. Who's heard of Feng Shui? It just kind of, you've heard about it. Yeah, anyone want to give it a shot? Just something you think it has to do with. It doesn't have to be right. Something, Feng Shui has something to do with, yeah, exactly. How you arrange things in your house. So this is going to be how you arrange things in your house, how you arrange a building, how you arrange your yard. What you're doing is certain attributes of place can be ordered basically so that the chi energy flows in a certain way. So this can be landscaping, your furniture, your architecture. Yeah, it's all on. I'm going to move ahead. It's all online. So to get to the basics of what it is, there's a few things that characterize. The water and mirrors, these affect your chi flow. Narrow openings, hallways. You want your chi to be able to move, so you have the chi is kind of coming along, and then you've got this little narrow hallway, and the chi's like, whoa, scoot through, and it's like, all right. But you don't want that scooty fast part. Okay, so you want your hallways to be open so the chi can do its thing. Each room you want to have 5 fundamental elements. Fire, metal, water, wood, and earth. I was talking to a friend. I was like, really? How are you supposed to have all that in your room? She's like, well, you know, a light becomes fire. Metal, water, you get this little burbly fountain. You know, earth can be, you know, a potted plant. So there are ways to interpret this. And your bed is supposed to face the door. So I'm going to take a moment and think, where does my bed face? Not like you have a lot of choice in the dorms, but theoretically for the chi to flow right. And in terms of globalization, some of you have heard of Feng Shui. It's pretty well known, actually. And I was in Texas where I was doing my PhD, and we went to these people's house, and they had all these rooms, and they were showing us they had built them, and then we went into one room, and they said, this is the Feng Shui room. And I was like, okay. And they said the energy goes up, and it curves around that pipe, and it does this, and I said, okay. And they said, well, just listen. And we'd been in all the rooms, and you can hear traffic, and in that room it was silent. Like, who am I to say? Experts in New York City, my friend, she does PR for Snoopy, for Schultz. She's a big deal, makes a lot of money. She hires experts to come to her house to Feng Shui them. Again, you only do that if Feng Shui is a big enough deal that you want to do that. You can get a Feng Shui gift pack on the internet. You can go to Europe. Feng Shui specialists. Language. All right, we're walking along. This is on the sidewalk. I'm in Chengdu. I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. There's Chinese written on the sidewalk. And I was like, art. It's like, Asia's so cool. And here's the man painting. And he's doing it in water. I was like, wow, it's like effervescent art. And I asked her, I was like, what, you know, what's he up to? And my friend translated. He said, he's practicing. I was like, why are you practicing Chinese? Aren't you Chinese? He said, Chinese is hard. I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough. So language is interesting. I'm sneaking up behind this girl, and I am thinking that maybe she doesn't know what her shirt says. You know, but love, you know, she might know what that one is, but, you know, kiss, turn, you know, burn, hot. So I think that's kind of funny. It's English, and I think, you know, she doesn't know what's on her shirt. But then, and I'll explain what I'm doing in a minute. You know, if you notice a little emblem on my shirt, what's happening? What I'm doing is I'm ordering noodles. We were doing work, and I was coming in late, and usually someone went with me who could speak Chinese. I could not. So my friends had written out for me how to say I want noodles fried with vegetables, and this was it. Phonetically, and they're all on the floor. I am orating from the top bunk to practice ordering myself dinner. That was tough in the terms of language. But, just knows what I ate that night. But there's that. I bought this at Target. I bring it to the field with me all the time. It's brown. It's perfect. It's got a little Chinese symbol. I think that's really pretty. When I got to China for the first time, I suddenly went, that has meaning. I don't know what it means. And I thought, oh, this could be really bad. Luckily, it means love. So I was okay, but I realized before I start thinking other people's shirts are funny, see what I in a somewhat unaware way was traipsing around with.